It's a thing of delight for me to be a convener of this broadcast and to part of the conversation. I don't want to use stats because I really do not think that I'm the first person to come out to complain that the Npfl is not doing what it ought to do as a league. Now, let's separate the three sides to this. There is the LMC, which are the regulators of the league. There is the Npfl, which is the league itself, and there's government, 90%, and then a few of the FM, where you have the owners, the Dr. Umba, Dr. Dukoya, and then you have the administrators who are like the caretakers, and then you have the coaches, you have the players, the backroom staff, as well as the fans. For me, my greatest fear is one day when I'm no longer strong enough to do all this. They always say that old age is filled with either regret or memories of the good things that you have done. When you grow old, when you start hitting 70 and 80, I do believe that I'll live to that time. You're either going to live your life filled with plenty of regrets of the things you were supposed to do that you didn't do, of the ideas that came to your head that you refused to share, of the people that you could have mentored, influenced, motivated, that you did not do all of those, of the gift that you have on the inside of you that you refused to bring to the fore, probably because of your fear of what people will say, or your fear, your doubt of the fact that you might fail, and so many more. But I've always said to myself, as the ideas, I got light bulb out there, whether it's on Twitter, it's on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube broadcast, I would. Anymore. History will not remember it. If you put it on Facebook too, people might not be able to reference it, because as you begin to post that thing, and if you know me, my Twitter handle is connected to my Facebook account, so the posts come thick and fast as ideas run in my head, as I read, as I watch movies, as I see things, and they get overlooked pretty. But I realize that on YouTube, you get how do I put it now? You get that space where you put up a thing there and anybody can search it for the rest of history and the rest of that. I don't want to get to 70, 80, 60 even, and my kids begin to ask me, so Daddy, what did you do? My son will be 6 years old next week, Monday, and I'm 49. It means that when I'm 60, my son will be 26 years old. And that does scare me a lot. If it doesn't scare you, it does scare me a lot. When you say, okay, Daddy, you're not a politician, that's why you didn't get into government. You didn't do anything with the oil and gas, power industry, but you were a guru in sports. So history says, because they will see all these things that were put on Facebook and on Twitter. The internet doesn't forget. And like, okay, Daddy, you were so good in sports. What did you do to contribute to the local sports? And, come to think of it, this is again the league that you first played in. What did you do to contribute? And that's the reason why this is, if you notice, I've been quite a little bit on YouTube, because I've been thinking my plan, strategizing, what should I do? What should I not do next? And it feels good to know that the YouTube broadcast button is now available to everybody who have a YouTube channel, which is very, very good. So it means that you need lesser equipment. All you need is just good internet, and then you get to talk. So following my tweets, enemies of Nigerian football, if you put that hashtag up, if you follow my tweet, you will see where I've called out almost everybody. And some people think that I'm trying to seek attention. Some people think that I just want to make noise. Some people think that, if you cannot sustain it. Well, I don't think those people know me, because if they know me very well, they will understand that I am a planning person. I plan, I research, and ask myself, are you willing to go this way? How far are you willing to go? And I sat down with my wife and I told her, babe, I'm going to back on this journey. It's going to take a very long time, and it's going to bring me a whole lot more enemies than friends. It's going to make people want to kill me if they have a chance, but it's a fight that is worth it. And once I got the blessings from my wife, my kids are too small to understand. I've sat down with them to discuss it. Once I got the blessing from my wife, I knew it was a go. If she had said, no, babe, you can't do it, you stamp her foot on the ground, I guess we won't be having this conversation. But once I got the blessing from her, like, okay, I'm with you all the way, then I knew I was ready to go. Before we go further on, my name is Idafe Matthew Esiogene, a former footballer in the Nigerian Professional Football League for Sharks and Eagles Summit, and I also played one season in Europe before I got injured and stopped playing. I've also coached, I've also managed teams, and I've also owned a football club for a short period of time before I sold it, and I also worked in radio for the last 13, 14 years. So, I think I have very strong experience in sports. So I'm not speaking in an environment where I'm a stranger, I don't understand. So first of all, I like the problems of football in Nigeria as it relates to or compares to what we're used to outside the country. First, the football professional football in Nigeria is at best a glorified amateur football, because it's only in Nigeria as it is today that the club administrators are more famous, more popular, and richer than the players that are playing in the team. It's only in Nigeria where players are regarded like they are refugees, they are scavengers, they are despondent, they are destitute, and the club is just a means to an end for them, where it's not supposed to be. It's only in Nigeria too where we don't have the culture of sports, we don't have the tradition of sports, and we have not built a commerce and tourism around football. Football at club level is not marketable. Football at club level is not believable. It's not a product that you can take to the bank. And most of the clubs are not run the way they should run. Let me give you a very typical example. Last year, the LMC signed a 5-year partnership with La Liga. And that partnership comes with a lot of open-ended plug that the clubs are supposed to plug in: partnership, relationship, training, exchange programs, and all that. As we speak to this very moment, none of the club are taking those opportunities, those privileges, those rights that are available to them to better their club and their players and their coaches. Some of the opportunities that are embedded in that partnership and contract is the fact that secondment, that coaches in Nigeria can go to them and do a 1 month or 2 months or 3 months course, or understudy the first team. And by understudy, it means that they can sit on the bench with Zinedine Zidane during matches, whether it is El Clasico or the Madrid derby or any game at all. That's the partnership that is there. The partnership also entails that any club can send at least 3 young players from their clubs in Nigeria to go to Spain and train for a given period of time and then come back and be seen anyway. Is the all-star team that want to play a friendly game, which is good, but nothing came out of it because the club's president or the club administrators who left here for Spain went on sightseeing instead of establishing good relationship and partnership. Yesterday, I was at the Radisson Blu Ikeja, where La Liga is, expanding its frontier into other countries, and Nigeria is one of the countries they picked. And as I sat down there and I'm watching all of the things that they're doing, the first thing that crossed my mind is La Liga will not be coming to Nigeria if they do not think that Nigeria is a country that is of value to their football brand. And why is it that we in Nigeria, the Eyimbas of this world, Canopilas of this world, Economic Warriors, Npfl, why is it that we've never seen a club in Nigeria decide, you know what, let us go to our domestic area of operation and go and relate with the communities, the closest communities? Why MFM, for instance, have not said, let us break Lagos into zones. Let's meet our fans in Agege, meet our fans in Ikorodu, meet our fans in Surulere, meet our fans on the main top flight football for the past 12, 13 years. And MFS came up, and the old Stars fans, old Julius Berger fans, old VIP fans actually connect with MFL, like you have in Europe, where a fan of Cadiz doesn't matter whether Cadiz get relegated, Cadiz down or relegated, and there's another thing. As it is today, if MFN get relegated and let's say Stars gets to the Premier League, all of these people go to the Saddam Washington will start going to watch Stars, to start supporting Stars. So it tells you there is no direct connection. Those are some of the things that needs to be. Now, power has just gone out. The people that are running our football have made it so much so that they believe that nobody can talk to them. Nobody can say anything to them. They are the powers that be. For as long as the status quo remain, they benefit from it. That is just the truth. They take money unaccounted for. And I think that it is high time, Nigeria, before we start calling our presidents and our governors accountable, let's start with these small people that we can hold accountable. Let's start calling them accountable. Let's start asking them, making demands on them, and requesting that they run the club as best transparency, they can show integrity, and they can show that truly this football can be run in a profitable way. When they sell or buy players locally, the fans need to start demanding how these players are sold, where did the money go to, and all that. Yes, you are a fan. That is the reason why you are a fan. But not just be a fan on the roadside. Be a fan like, okay, you want to be a member. Call for certain things to happen. The fans are that powerful. Now, the question anybody will ask me is, why should we do it? Now, this is why you should do it. The economy of Nigeria is hemorrhaging. It's bleeding. It is suffering. There is no two ways about it. And we all cannot be in government. We all cannot become senators or politicians and siphon the last of the money that is remaining, or the last drop of oil in the oil jar. But what we can do is we can use, and these changes will happen. So what we should be looking at is the ability to be able to call small people in small position of power accountable. If you can hold an IRC accountable, then I think anybody will respect you when you try to hold them accountable. Truth be told, you do not have the powers to hold them accountable. That is just the basic truth about the matter. So let's learn how. In building this country, let us learn how to hold those small people accountable, starting with our family front, and then these clubs that we're so passionate about. The same way we want the Arsenal board to handle Arsene Wenger, the same way those Arsenal board and those Arsenal fans in London are saying to you, hold the people that runs your club in Nigeria business. Mind your business. And what is your business? Your business actually is with the football in your country. You cannot ignore the football in your country and then you want to run what happened in London. You want to tell Roman Abramovich how to run Chelsea, when you cannot tell INC how to run Enyimba, when you cannot tell Good Faith how to run Heartland, when you cannot tell Mike Idoko how to run Lobby Stars, but you want to tell Roman Abramovich, really? You want to tell somebody who is in the top 100 and 200 richest men in the world how to run a football club that is worth over £1 billion, and you cannot tell somebody how to run Npfl? You cannot tell somebody how to run Lobby Stars or Academy Warriors or Kwara United? I don't think you're serious. Don't just get into social media and waste your time and energy. We are Nigerians. If the sports get better in Nigeria, it favors me and you. There is the catalyst effect of sports getting better. For instance, there are 20 teams in the league. It means that every weekend there'll be 10 matches everywhere, whether it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday night, there'll be 10 games. It means that there's a possibility of 5,000 people gathering at a particular, minimum 5,000 people gathering at a particular stadium everywhere there is a football game. 5,000 people, multiply that by 5,000 pure water, sachet of pure water first, multiply that again by 5,000 bottle of bottled water, or probably beverages like Coke, Fanta, and the rest of them, and then calculate the number of gala that will be sold, calculate the number of other beverages that will be sold and all that. So if you put all that together, you realize that we are really in a place where if we get this right, we'll be able to pull string and strength properly. I just hope you think about it and see how it goes. Thank you very much.